Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new chapter, thermodynamics. In previous chapter, we have discussed about thermal properties of matter. That is, we have discussed about basic concepts such as temperature and measurement of temperature, and also we discussed about expansion of materials and anomalous behavior of water, Newton's law of cooling, specific heat capacity, latent heat capacity, and everything we have discussed in last chapter. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about interconversion of heat and work done. When some amount of heat is given to the system, how it is converted into work, and also we will see the converse effect. That is, when the work is being done on the system, how the heat is generated. We also going to discuss about engines, heat engines, as well as refrigerators in this chapter. So, to start with thermodynamics, we discuss what is thermodynamics first. Thermodynamics, thermodynamics is the branch of physics which deals with heat and temperature and interconversion of, that is the conversion from heat to work done or work done to heat. Interconversion of heat to other forms of energy. Heat and other forms of energy. Okay, and also in this thermodynamics, we will not study in detail about the molecular nature or molecular motion of particles. Here we concentrate only macroscopic properties. Macroscopic means system as a whole. We will not go in detail about the molecular properties, right? So here thermodynamics is a macroscopic. Macroscopic is nothing but system as a whole. We will not go in detail into the molecular picture of the system. Thermodynamics is a macroscopic science which deals with bulk systems, not individual particles, not individual molecules. It deals with bulk systems and doesn't go into molecular picture or molecular constitution. Now we are going to discuss about in mechanics. In order to describe the motion of a particle, we need distance, displacement, velocity, acceleration, and time taken. We know these are the variables that are needed to describe the motion of a particle in mechanics. But in thermodynamics, we cannot describe the state of a system by using these variables such as displacement, velocity, and acceleration. We need to have different set of variables in order to describe the thermodynamic state of a system. That is, the variables which are needed to describe the state of a gas, a thermodynamic system, are called as thermodynamic variables. Now I am going to define. So here we will discuss about heat, work done, internal energy. All are in relation with some thermodynamic variables. Those thermodynamic variables are the thermodynamic variables. Here we are going to describe the state of a system by using these thermodynamic variables. The thermodynamic variables are nothing but the variables which are needed to describe the state of the system, describe the state of a gas or system, thermodynamic system. Okay, so here we should know what is system and surroundings in the beginning. So now I am going to discuss what is system and what is surroundings here. System is nothing but, here the system is nothing but the object under observation is called system. An object under observation is called a system. And surroundings other than system, surroundings are nothing but other than thermodynamic system, other than an object under observation is called surroundings. Other than system is called surroundings. Now the systems are three types: open system, closed system, and isolated system. Now I am going to discuss about first one, a closed system. See here, a system is nothing but like this, open system. In open system, let us consider this system consists of large number of gas molecule inside. Consider these are all gas molecules. When the system is open, consider this is a open system. When system is open, mass is not constant and energy is also not constant. That is, mass is not constant, that is, mass exchanges with surroundings, energy also exchanges with surroundings. Energy is also not constant. And now closed system. Consider this is a closed system. Here in closed system, let us consider it consists of large number of gas molecules like this, which is we call it as a system, right? So in this case, energy mass will not exchange with surroundings. Mass is not constant. Wait a minute. In this system, mass will not exchange with surroundings. So mass is constant, but energy is not constant. Energy is not constant. See here, we will define one by one. Open system. Open system. In open system, both mass and energy exchanges with the surroundings. So in open system, both mass and energy exchanges with surroundings. Mass exchanges with surroundings, energy also exchanges with surroundings. So mass is not constant, Energy is also not constant in this system. Now I'm going to define closed system. This is nothing but closed system. Okay, so in closed system, now closed system, in closed system, when system is closed with a piston, mass will not exchange, mass does not exchange, mass does not exchange, but energy exchanges with surroundings. As the system is closed, mass will not exchange with surroundings, but energy may exchange with surroundings. Because if the walls are conducting walls, the walls will allow the flow of heat energy from system to surroundings. So energy is not constant in this case, but mass is not going to exchange in a closed system with surroundings. So mass is constant in this case. So one more third type of case is nothing but isolated system. Now I am going to discuss about isolated system. In isolated system, in isolated system, both mass and energy, mass and energy do not exchange with the surroundings. Mass and energy do not exchange with surroundings. So if I have taken a isolated system like this, consider these are nothing but gas molecules, and here gas molecules, let this system is made up of a adiabatic walls, that is insulating walls. So system will not interact with surroundings. System is isolated with surroundings by keeping insulating walls around the system. And also let this piston is also made up of insulating material. Insulating material is nothing but the material which do not allow the system to interact with surroundings. So there is no exchange of mass, there is no exchange of heat energy with surroundings. So isolated system is nothing but, in this case, mass is constant as well as energy also constant, energy of the system also constant. Okay, and we have discussed about thermodynamic variables, the variables which are needed to describe the state of a gas or a system. For example, the thermodynamic variables are pressure, volume, temperature, internal energy, work done, heat energy, etc. All these are nothing but thermodynamic variables. Amount of substance also thermodynamic variable. So here we are going to describe the system or state of the system or a gas by using in terms of pressure, volume, temperature, internal energy, amount of substance, etc. We are not going to use the variables that we have used in mechanics, such as displacement. We cannot use the displacement here in this thermodynamic picture. And also we are not going to use acceleration of the molecules, or such things cannot be useful to explain the in detail picture of thermodynamic state of a system in this case. So here we need pressure, volume, temperature, internal energy, amount of substance, etc. are the variables that are needed to describe the thermodynamic state of a system. Now I am going to describe about the equilibrium, thermodynamic equilibrium. Now thermodynamic equilibrium. Thermodynamic equilibrium. So in thermodynamic equilibrium, we say the system is in thermodynamic equilibrium when, see here, the state of a system, the state of a system is in an equilibrium state. The state of a system is in an equilibrium state if the macroscopic variables that characterizes the system do not change in time, do not change with time, or do not change in time. So here a system is said to be under equilibrium if the macroscopic variables that characterizes the system, the macroscopic variables are nothing but pressure, volume, temperature, internal energy, amount of substance, etc. are nothing but macroscopic variables that characterizes the system. Do not change in time. If you take a system, consider I am taking a system. I am taking two systems, system A and system B. These two systems are being surrounded by like this, and there is a adiabatic wall in between the two systems. Now there is a adiabatic wall in between the two systems. Let this is system A and system B. Initial pressure of system A is nothing but PA, and initial volume is VA, and initial temperature is TA. Okay, and system B variables, thermodynamic variables are PB, initial volume is VB, and initial temperature is TB. And now this is nothing but a insulating wall is there in between the two systems. Insulating wall. Let us consider this is a insulating wall. So if there is a insulating wall, there is no exchange of mass with mass of one system with another system, and there is no exchange of energy also between one system to another system. So the states of the systems are at constant position. Now if I replace the insulating wall with, consider this is system A and this is system B, and in between them there is a insulating wall. Sorry, not insulating wall. There is a conducting wall in between them. So here consider this is nothing but a conducting wall in between system A and B. So this is nothing but system A and this is system B. So there is a exchange of macroscopic variables from system A to system B. That is, the heat energy flows from A to B or B to A depending on the thermodynamic variables. Okay, consider now after exchanging, the exchanges occurs until both will attain same state. That is, the final pressure of the gas is nothing but, let us nothing but PA dash, and final volume is VB dash, and final temperature is TA dash, and final pressure of the system B is nothing but PB dash, and final volume is VB dash, and final temperature is TB dash. Okay, so now when pressure of the gas A is equal to pressure of the gas B, both the systems are under thermodynamic equilibrium. In this case, the pressure of the gas will not exchange from one place to another place. If temperature remains constant, if the temperature of gas A and temperature of gas B are equal in this case, we can say that the system is under thermal equilibrium. Okay, thermal equilibrium. So now the thermal equilibrium is nothing but, so in thermal equilibrium, the temperatures of the two systems, the temperatures of the two systems are equal. We have discussed already. The state of a system is in equilibrium state if the macroscopic variables that characterizes the system do not change in time. That means temperature of A equal to temperature of B. In that case, there is no exchange of heat energy from A to B or B to A. So we can say that the two bodies are having same temperature, and finally we can conclude that the two systems are under thermal equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium. Okay, so now we know the temperature is nothing but degree of hotness or degree of coldness of a body. Now we are going to discuss about the zeroth law of thermodynamics. Zeroth law of thermodynamics, which is the consequence of temperature. Zeroth law of thermodynamics. Zeroth law of thermodynamics. It is the consequence of concept of temperature. Temperature is basic to discuss the whole thermal properties of matter and thermodynamic state of a system. And see here, to describe about the zeroth law of thermodynamics, first of all, I am going to draw three systems like this. Let us consider this is system A. System A. Sorry. Wait a minute. System A. System B. System A and B. And consider these two systems are first to describe about this one. I am going to discuss what is adiabatic wall and what is diathermic wall. Here, adiabatic wall. Adiabatic wall is nothing but an insulating wall which do not allow the flow of heat energy from system to surroundings. Flow of heat energy from system to surroundings. Examples are nothing but we see in juice vendors, the ice is stored inside the thermocol. So the examples are thermocol, wood, etc. Wood, cotton, etc. are nothing but insulating materials. So insulating materials, the walls which are made up of insulating materials are called as the adiabatic walls. Now diathermic walls. Diathermic walls are nothing but, see here, conducting walls which allow the flow of heat energy from system to surroundings, or one system to another system, or system to surroundings. These are nothing but diathermic walls. Diathermic walls are nothing but conducting walls which allow the flow of heat energy from system to another system or system to surroundings. Now consider there are two systems like this, system A and system B. Initially, system A and B are covered with a, these two are separated with a adiabatic walls. These two are separated with adiabatic walls. Adiabatic walls. And now I am drawing another system. I'm drawing another system, third system C. And this system is separated with conducting walls. So consider this is system C. This is the first case. Okay, so this is nothing but conducting wall. Consider it is a conducting wall. So suppose system A is at some temperature TA, and system B is at some temperature TB, and system C is at some temperature TC initially. So here system A and system B are separated with adiabatic walls. So there is no exchange of heat energy from A to B. So the system A is in interaction with system C because system A and C are separated with a conducting wall. So there is a exchange of heat energy from A to C or C to A. And there is a exchange of heat energy between system B and system C also. Because system B and C are separated with diathermic wall. Diathermic wall is nothing but a conducting wall which allow the flow of heat energy from one system to another system or system to surroundings. So there is no exchange of heat energy between A and B, but there is an exchange of energy between A and C and B and C. So the heat energy flows in between A to C or C to A and C to B and B to C. So finally, the system A is the heat energy flows from system A to C or C to A until the temperature of system A is equal to temperature of system C. And also the heat energy flows from B to C or C to B until the temperature of B is equal to temperature of C, until both the system acquire same temperature. That means until both the system acquire thermal equilibrium, the heat energy flows between A to C or C to A and B to C or C to B. So when temperature of A and C are equal, as well as temperature of B and C also equal, there is no exchange of heat energy between A and C or B and C. Now I am constructing the three systems again. System A, system B, system C. System C. Suppose this is system A, system B, and this is nothing but system C. System, now let reverse the thermodynamic wall, adiabatic wall with diathermic wall. Let us consider initially here there was a conducting wall. Now I am replacing conducting wall with adiabatic wall here in between A and C and B and C. This is adiabatic wall. And I am replacing the gap in between A and B with a conducting wall. This is nothing but a conducting wall. So see here, before this, in this case, the systems A and C are in interaction with each other, and also systems B and C are all in interaction with each other until temperature of A is equal to temperature of C. and as well as temperature of B is equal to temperature of C. Now I replaced conducting wall with diathermic wall here, and adiabatic wall with diathermic wall here. We just exchanged conducting wall with adiabatic wall and adiabatic wall with conducting wall here. So there should be exchange of heat energy between A and B because they are separated by conducting wall now. But there is no exchange of heat energy between A and B here because already system A is in thermal equilibrium with C, and also the system B is also in thermal equilibrium with C. So now the temperature of A must be is equal to temperature of B. That means A and B are also in thermal equilibrium with each other. This is the 0th law of thermodynamics. Now I am going to define 0th law of thermodynamics here. Now 0th law of thermodynamics is 0th law of thermodynamics. It is a concept of temperature. It is explained on the concept of temperature. So now 0th law of thermodynamics is defined as two systems. Wait a minute. Two systems A and B. Two systems are in thermal equilibrium with a third system. Two systems. What are two systems? A and B. Two systems are in thermal equilibrium with a third system C. Separately. A is in thermal equilibrium with C and B is also in thermal equilibrium with C. That is nothing but temperature of A is equal to temperature of C and temperature of B is also equal to temperature of C. Two systems are in thermal equilibrium with a third system separately are in thermal equilibrium with each other. So now the temperature of A must be is equal to temperature of B. So two systems are in thermal equilibrium with a third system separately are also in thermal equilibrium with each other. This is the 0th law of thermodynamics, which is based on the temperature of the system. And this thermodynamics law was named as a 0th law because it is invented longer after first law of thermodynamics and second law of thermodynamics. As this is the basic to thermodynamics, so this is named as the 0th law of thermodynamics. Now I am going to discuss about heat, internal energy and work. Now heat, internal energy and work done. Heat, internal energy and work. Students, we have discussed about 0th law of thermodynamics, which led us to the concept of temperature. And we know the temperature is a degree of hotness or coldness of a body, and it determines the temperature determines the direction of flow of heat energy when two bodies are in contact with each other. That means a body is at high temperature T1 and body is at another temperature T2. When these two bodies are in contact with each other, the heat energy flows from, let us consider this is hotter body and this is a colder body. That means temperature of hotter body is greater than temperature of colder body. If there is a temperature difference between two systems, the heat energy flows from hot body to cold body whenever they are kept in contact with each other. The heat energy flows from system A, system 1 to system 2 until both the temperatures are equal. That means until both the systems come to thermal equilibrium. Once the two systems are in thermal equilibrium, there is no exchange of heat energy between system and surroundings. That means heat is the form of energy. Heat is the form of energy in transit. If there is no temperature difference between two systems, there is no flow of heat energy from one system to another system. The heat energy flows. The concept of heat energy comes only when there is a temperature difference between system and surroundings, or system and another system, one system and another system. If there is no temperature difference between them, there is no concept of heat energy. There is no heat energy, right? So here, now we are going to discuss about internal energy here. Internal energy. Now, very easy topic. Internal energy. Internal energy of a system is the sum of kinetic and potential energies of the molecules of the system. Again, we do not go in detail about the individual kinetic energy of the molecule or individual potential energy of the molecule, because that picture will be microscopic picture. But we are going to discuss about only macroscopic properties. That means system as a whole, that is the sum of kinetic energy of the molecules and sum of potential energy of the molecules. Let us take a system like this. System. Let this system consist of large number of gas molecules. We know all the gas molecules move randomly inside the volume of the vessel. They move randomly. All the molecules move randomly inside the vessel. And consider this is nothing but a piston. Okay, all the molecules move randomly inside the volume of the vessel. So as the molecules are moving, there exists a kinetic energy. The sum of kinetic energy of all the molecules. And now there exists a interatomic force. Force between the molecules. Because of the interatomic forces, there exists a potential energy. So there exists a potential energy in between the molecules because of the interatomic forces. So potential energy is indicated with some V or something. Let us consider potential energy. I am indicating potential energy with V here. Okay, capital V here. Okay, as there are, we know potential energy is nothing but minus force F equal to minus du by dx. We have discussed in mechanics that force F equal to minus dv by dx. So if there is an interatomic force, there exists a potential energy. So because of the interatomic forces between the molecules, intermolecular force, because of the intermolecular force, there exists a potential energy. So now I am going to define the internal energy of a system. The internal energy of a system is the sum of kinetic and potential energies of the molecules of the system. So internal energy, internal energy indicated with U is equal to sum of kinetic energy and potential energy of the system as a whole. Now, if there is no interatomic, if we neglect, if we neglect, if we neglect interatomic forces or intermolecular forces, if intermolecular forces are neglected, so potential energy is equal to 0. So there is no influence of one molecule on the other. If there is no influence of one molecule on the other, the system is said to be, all the molecules are said to be idealized. Because if you take two persons, if one person is not being influenced by another person, the two persons will be ideal persons. Because if you have a two friends, if you are influenced by your friend, you will be not ideal person, you will be a real person. If you are not influenced by your friend, you will be said to be you are an ideal person. So here, if we neglect intermolecular forces or interatomic forces, potential energy is equal to 0. If potential energy is equal to 0, in that case, the internal energy is only due to sum of kinetic energy of the molecules. Then the gas is said to be, in this case, the gas is said to be, ideal gas. Ideal gas is 1. So now I am going to define about ideal gas. Ideal gas is one in which there are no intermolecular forces. So there is no influence of one molecule on other. Intermolecular forces. Ideal gas is one in which there are no intermolecular forces. That means potential energy of the system is equal to 0. So the internal energy is only mainly due to kinetic energy of the molecules. In this case, the gas is said to be ideal gas. So a real gas can behave like an ideal gas. Now I am going to give you one more point. A real gas can behave like an ideal gas at high temperature. So when two systems are, a real gas can behave like an ideal gas at high temperature. When two friends are there, in order to avoid the influence of one on another, if we keep on maintaining the temperature is high between the two persons, so they will not be influenced by one on another. So that means a real gas can behave like an ideal gas at high temperature and low pressure. Okay, a real gas can behave like an ideal gas at high temperature and low pressure. So in ideal gas, intermolecular forces are equal to 0. So potential energy is equal to 0. So internal energy is mainly due to kinetic energy. And here kinetic energy depends on, we can improve the kinetic energy. We can increase the kinetic energy of the system by giving the temperature or by giving the heat energy to the system. So kinetic energy of the system depends purely on temperature. If the temperature is more, the random motion of the molecules is more. So kinetic energy is also more. If kinetic energy is more for an ideal gas, internal energy is also more. So kinetic energy of the system depends purely on temperature. Therefore, internal energy. Therefore, internal energy purely depends on temperature only. This is for ideal gas only. Temperature only for ideal gas. Internal energy depends only on what? Temperature. So internal energy is nothing but a function of a temperature. We can write the internal energy equal to kinetic energy as a function of temperature. Internal energy of ideal gas depends only on temperature, not on internal forces, not on any other factors such as pressure and volume. Okay, so this is the main point in internal energy. Now, the important thing about the internal energy is internal energy. Internal energy is a state function. Internal energy is a state function. That means it depends only on state of the system, where the system is. It depends only on where the system is, but not on how it is achieved, how the state is achieved, how the state is achieved. That means it depends only on present state of the system, does not depend on the path followed. So internal energy is a state function. When a gas is there, when a system is there at particular state, so it has some internal energy. Okay, but here we can change the internal energy in two ways. I am taking a example like this. Consider this is a system which consists of the gas. System consists of a gas, and I am taking a movable piston. I am taking a movable piston like this, and this movable piston is being attached with a rope. Rope like this, and see, and this system is made up of conducting walls. Consider these are conducting walls. So there is a exchange of heat energy between system and surroundings. Now I have a heat source. With this heat source, I am keep on giving the heat energy to the system. I can give the heat energy to the system. So we can increase the internal energy. So there are two ways to increase the internal energy. We can increase internal energy of the system in two ways. What are the ways? The first way is by giving the heat energy to the system. First energy is by supplying heat energy, by supplying external heat energy to the system. As the heat energy is given to the system, the temperature of gas molecules inside the system increases. As temperature increases, the kinetic energy of the gas molecules increases. As we know, for an ideal gas, the internal energy is only due to kinetic energy of the molecules. As temperature increases, kinetic energy of the molecules increases. So we can increase the internal energy with the help of supplying heat energy to the system. By supplying external energy to system, external heat energy to system. This is one way of increase the internal energy of the gas. The second way is when we when the piston when surroundings done work on when surroundings do work on the system, when surroundings do work on the system. So when surroundings do work on the piston will be moved downwards. When piston is moved downwards, pressure of the gas increases, so temperature of the gas also increases when the piston is moved downwards like this. That means the surroundings are doing work on the piston. The surroundings are doing work on the system now. When surroundings are doing work on the system, the piston will be moved down, so pressure of the gas increases, so temperature of the, we know ideal gas equation is PV is equal to nRT, so P is directly proportional to temperature. As the pressure increases, temperature increases. As temperature of the gas increases, so kinetic energy of the molecules increases. That means internal energy of the gas also increases. So we can increase the internal energy of the system in two ways. One way is by supplying the heat energy, and another way is by doing work on the system. In both the cases, the temperature of the gas increases, so kinetic energy of the molecules increases, so internal energy increases. In short, we can conclude this: heat and work. By giving heat, internal energy is changing. By doing work, internal energy is changing. So we can conclude that heat and work are two different modes of changing the state of a thermodynamic system. They are changing the state of a thermodynamic system and changing its internal energy So here heat and work are not state variables. We don't say that when a system is at a particular state, it has some work. That does not sense anything, because if there is no displacement, there is no work done. At a particular state, the system does not said to have some work done. So heat and work are not state variables, they are path variables. Okay. So therefore, the state of a thermodynamic system is characterized by internal energy only, because internal energy is a state function, whereas heat and work are path functions. Okay, so it is wrong to say a gas in a given state. A gas in a given state has certain amount of heat energy. This is meaningless, as well as a gas in a given state given state has certain amount of work. This is also wrong statement, but the correct statement is a gas in a given statement. A gas in a given state, a gas in a given state has a certain amount of internal energy. When a gas is at particular state, it has some kinetic energy. The sum of kinetic energy of all the molecules is nothing but internal energy. It is correct to say a gas in a given state has a certain amount of internal energy. A gas in a given state, there is no displacement of the system, so there is no work done. So this statement is wrong. A gas in a given state has certain amount of heat energy. We know that heat energy is nothing but it is the form of energy in transit. Whenever the system is undergoing from one state to another state, there is a flow of heat energy from one state to another state, from one system to surroundings. So as long as the state of a system is constant, so there is no exchange of heat energy between system and surroundings. So this statement is also wrong. So a gas in a given state has certain amount of heat energy is meaningless. A gas in a given state has a certain amount of work done is also meaningless. A gas in a given state has a certain amount of internal energy. This is meaningful. So this statement is correct. So the final conclusion is internal energy is a state variable. Heat energy is not a state variable, it is path variable, path dependent. Work is also not a state variable, it is also path dependent, that means path variable. So this is the conclusion of this class, students. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye bye.